everyone, how's it going? So a lot of you guys are starting university now and starting your A-levels and going back to school or college and all of that fun stuff, and I'm getting quite a few comments from you all asking me how to take efficient notes and how to keep up with note-taking throughout your studies. Now, before I get into the bulk of the video, I have to say that this is the first time I'm filming in my new room in my new flat. And you know what, guys? I am facing the front of the flat and there is a busy road, so I do apologise for any cars or motorcycles or building work or whatever madness is happening on the London streets outside. But I hope we can get through the video anyway. So I've sort of been umming and ahhing about whether I should make a general how to take notes video or split it up into A-levels and university. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how to take great A-level notes, and then I will make a second video talking about university notes, just because I know that they are a little bit different and there are better strategies to take for one and not the other. Also guys, before I get into this, if any of you lovely lot are studying biology or chemistry for your A-levels, then I'm going to link some resources down below of a company that provides lots of different revision material and questions. And because these notes are simplified, the notes that this company provides, then it might be even easier for you to revise from, because you can take your notes from these resources. And to put a cherry on top of the cake, here is a discount code for 10% off. So by all means, go and give them a look if you're interested. So let's get into it. Number one is, do not spend too much time making your notes. And honestly, I say this from personal experience, and I can assure you that all of my friends would vouch for this, because they would make fun of me all the time for the amount of time that I would spend making my notes. So alright, let me learn from my mistakes. This is what I used to do. So if you guys are doing your A-levels, you typically get to have a couple of textbooks, and everything you need to know pretty much is in that textbook. And stupidly, what I would do is I would take that textbook and write out these notes, and they would be so detailed, and they were essentially the version of a textbook but written slightly differently. And when I look back, I just think it's really unnecessary, because if I started making these really elaborate notes right at the start of the year, then by the time it was time for exams, I had already forgotten everything that I'd made notes on, and then, you know, there's no point in me looking through my notes because they're very detailed. I could just literally look through the textbook again. Number two, and again, this is something that I failed to realize until right at the very end, is that making notes is only one way to revise. See, I kind of took it as making notes is the most ultimate way of revision, and it's the only way that you'll be able to learn. But honestly, no, there are so many different things you can do, from, you know, cue cards and recording your notes, or having group meetings, all of this kind of stuff, which I'll go into. But there's so many other ways to revise, so don't put all of your emphasis on making notes. Number three, and my god, I see this happening so much, and it happened to me, and it happened to me even through university, and it's the whole premise of giving your notes away to someone, or accepting notes from somebody else, if you like. And okay, this sounds like a good idea to begin with, right? You think, okay, well, if I write a note on this section and my friend writes notes on the other section, we can kind of swap and kind of, you know, help each other out. But honestly guys, the whole point of creating notes is that it's the process that helps you learn it. Especially at A-level, because as I said, you've got this entire ginormous textbook that has all of the information in there. So although it might seem like a really nice idea to swap notes with your friends, you will realize that even when you're reading through their notes, it's still not going in as effectively as it would should you be making the notes yourself. And honestly, I'm just reading notes of my laptop and making this video, and I just sound like such a mum. I'm sorry. Number four, and again, I'm telling you more things that you probably don't want to hear, but if you can, try and keep up with making your notes as you go along. Once again, another mistake I made, and honestly this video just feels like a list of mistakes Atousa made. But anyway, another mistake I made is that I would wait until the end of the semester when my exams were due, a few weeks before, and I would just go through this textbook, make really long, really elaborate detailed notes, and by that time it was already a bit too late. So it would mean that having to sit and learn everything from the beginning. And as I said in my first point, this wastes so much time. So what I would say, especially if you've just started your A-levels, is to try and make little notes, little and often if you like, as you're going along, and try and do it consistently. So for example, if you learn about carbohydrates today, write maybe like a half to a full page of A4, you know, little notes, little pictures, and then just make sure to date it and then put it in a folder somewhere, and so that way it can be really accessible once you come back to it. Number 5 is use good abbreviations. See, again, another mistake, yet another mistake that I would make is that I used to think that, oh, if I use abbreviations in my notes, then what if I forget what the abbreviation means, and then later on I'm looking through my notes and then I can't remember anything, so I'm going to write everything in full, everything's going to be in full sentences, everything's going to be written properly, and oh my god. Again, not only would this extend my notes, take a long time, take up so much space, but in a way, even if you write things in abbreviations and you forget them, that's a good thing, because then you'll look at your notes and be like, oh, I wonder what this abbreviation means. I'm gonna look it up. Oh my god, guys, can you hear that? What a good time for building works to start. I don't really know what to do. Do I keep filming? Do I wait for it to be over? Okay, we're powering through, I'm sorry for the noise. Number 6 is try and make funny connections and little, you know, anecdotes that link what you have to learn to the content. So, I don't know, for example, let's say something really funny happened in the lesson where you were learning about photosynthesis, like somebody fell off the chair or something stupid happened. You can make some sort of anecdote or draw a picture of like a chair and like a leaf next to it or something stupid like that. Because the best way for you to take notes so that they really stick in your mind is by making these little connections. And I guess this is the fun part where you all get to be a little bit creative. You can either make rhyming words or like little songs, or as I said, connection to everyday activities that happen. And I think this is really, really good, because later on when you're looking through your notes and you see like, oh yeah, remember the time where like so-and-so fell off the chair? Oh yeah, we were learning this. Oh, that was a funny thing. Oh, I remember this now. Again, it's like setting up a little cue for yourself, so as soon as you see the cue, you know exactly what to think. Number 7, and I think this is a really, really good advice, is that your notes don't have to be written down. They don't always have to be pen to paper. And by that, I don't mean that you have to type it up, although typing it up is also a great option, but I would say recording your notes is also very, very useful. And I think this is great for 2 reasons, and this is something I did, and it really did help me out a lot. It's because, firstly, when you're like speaking your notes, again, that's a way for you to like engage different parts of your brain, so you're kind of engaging with the information as you're saying it. But also, the best part about having recorded notes is that you can listen to it on the go. If you're on the bus or on the train, or you're walking to school, or I don't know, you're doing something idle, like washing the dishes or whatever, you can always just have your headphones in and then have your notes play to you. And that, in a way, is just a way for you to kind of passively learn, if you like. And that's exactly what I did with my French, and it helped me a lot. And finally, this is something I touched upon very slightly, but I'll go into it now, and that is, I know that different people have preferences between writing their notes, like handwriting, or typing. What I would suggest is that if you are going to look back on your notes, I would suggest typing them up, especially if you don't have great handwriting, so that later on when you go back to try and learn them, it will kind of be a lot easier for you to take them in. And again, maybe this is just based on personal experience, because my handwriting, if I'm writing like quick notes, like you can't read it. It looks like a 2-year-old who's just been scribbling. So whenever I personally had to take notes, I would always opt in for the typing section. But what I would do, again, just to keep it a little bit more interesting, if you like, is that when I would type my notes up and print off a copy, I would leave like little white boxes where I can write things either by hand or draw little pictures. And again, that's a really good way to engage and interact with your notes. So those were just a few of the things that I think you guys might find useful, but obviously you guys are very clever, lovely individuals, and if you all have any suggestions, leave them below so that other people can benefit from them. And you know what? Just to finish this video, I'm gonna put a picture right here of all of the notes and all of the pieces of paper that had accumulated over my 2 years of A-level. Like, my heart cries out for all of those poor trees that were destroyed in the making of my A-levels, and I'm just one person. But anyway, that's yet another advantage of typing up your notes, because if you don't print them and you just have them on your iPad, you are also being environmentally friendly. Bonus point. Anywho, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got something from it. And also, for you lovely people who are doing A-level biology or chemistry, I've made a video about this in the past, but I will link some resources for you down below through a link, and if you want to have access to these resources, you can use my name, Atousa10, or this code, to give you a discount. Alright then, my lovelies, I will see you in a video, and until then, take care, and I'll see you later.